Hey everybody, before we get into today's video, I want to give a quick shout out to the video sponsor, Berg's Bags. If you want the #1 disc golf bag on the market with every feature you could possibly imagine, you can fit your stool in one side, your umbrella in the other, seemingly unlimited disc storage, and many other features, click the link in the description below and use code ICE10 for 10% off your order. Get them while supplies last at the link in the description below. Enjoy the video. What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, we'll be talking about the Prodigy Discs tournament team, but before we get into today's video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I really appreciate you interacting with the channel and doing those things. It helps the YouTube algorithm. YouTube will promote this video and help me grow my channel even further. Now, if you want the latest disc golf news, hit the notification bell, and then you will get notified every time that I upload. So if you want all that juicy off-season disc golf news here on Iceberg TV, that is the best way to get it. Let's get into the video. So we're going to start off with Alden Harris. He was able to lock up a Silver Series win. That was it was such a good performance. He threw some of the best shots we saw all year, throwing those extremely flippy understable discs, throwing overstable discs, showing like immense versatility with his game. Now, some value of Alden Harris, if you don't know, is his YouTube channel, his, kind of pro tour vlog. And I was always wanting to see, ever since I was a fan of the sport and the Disc Golf Pro Tour, I always wanted to see, what goes on between rounds. Do these guys like go out and hang out? Do they go train? Do they go to the gym? Do they just screw around? Do they have fun? Alden's vlog answers all those questions, and it gives us that sort of VIP inside look at, what these guys like to do when they're not playing tournaments and they're not on the course. And this vlog is so fun. It's so entertaining. It's so well edited. The thumbnails are great. If you don't follow Alden's vlog, go check that out. And then on top of that, Alden Harris, super cool guy, really great player. I've had the opportunity to meet him when I lived over in Atlanta. We played in the same tournament, a little unsanctioned thing. So I did meet him over there. He's a super cool guy. Now, do I think he's going to stay with Prodigy? I think he will, and I think a lot of these guys are going to be tempted to stay with Prodigy because Prodigy was the company that, helped them get on the road in the first place. And I think these guys are going to have a lot of gratitude, especially the younger players. They're going to have a lot of gratitude for the opportunities that Prodigy gave them. So as long as Prodigy gives them a respectable offer, I see Alden Harris staying. But I think it's pivotal if you get Alden Harris, you get the other cast of characters for the vlog, because nothing is going to promote Prodigy better and give them a better reputation than Alden Harris's vlog. It is so wholesome. It's so fun. These guys show that you can have fun and be cool and be yourself and be fun, and it's really fun to watch. So Alden Harris, I think, is going to stay with Prodigy. Go subscribe to his vlog. And we're going to move on here to someone with, I'm a little bit less excited for, seeing what happens with him. This is Austin Hannum. He had, in my opinion, a really bad year this year. He only had a few top 10s, 2 or 3 top 10s, a lot of really, really bad finishes. He missed cash several times. Katrina Allen is his partner. I think he's going to wind up moving over to DGA or Discraft, just to follow alongside her. But I don't think he's going to get a very big contract because, again, he did not have a good year this year. Maybe he was battling injuries. Maybe he was battling mental health. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was that. But not a good year for Austin Hannum, and not a good year to have before you want to, renew your contract with your current manufacturer or find a new one. He's not going to have a lot of bargain ship on the table because, again, he just didn't have a good year, and companies are going to want to pay players the big bucks that are going to go out and promote their discs, and they want players that are going to get podium finishes and be in the top 10 at majors, elite series. So I'm curious to see what happens with Austin Hannum, but I predict that he'll, get a contract with DGA because of Katrina. That's my opinion. Comment down below your thoughts about Austin Hannum. That's my thoughts. We're going to move on to Ezra Robinson. Now, Ezra Robinson has the advantage of being Isaac Robinson's brother and good friend of Alden Harris and Gannon Buhr. Ezra's, again, super cool guy. I met him and Isaac. I played a tournament at Little Mulberry Park outside of Atlanta, and these guys were there. And I actually had the pleasure of playing 9 holes before the tournament to warm up with these guys, and this was the first I'd ever heard of them. And I could just tell that they... the Matt Dollar was there and a couple other really good players were there. And I could always tell that these guys were just different. They were just a little bit better than those guys. And they were still so young at that point. I want to say they weren't even 18 yet at that point. That might have been 18, 19 at the absolute oldest when I met them back then. Ezra Robinson has a very bright future ahead of him. He's not quite as consistent as his brother Isaac, but that doesn't mean he's not a great player. He was cashing. He cashed at every event he played, so he has a really great cash streak going. He didn't get tons of cash, and they weren't huge winnings, but he's out there, he's fighting, and what I like to see from cashing at every event is he's willing to fight, and he's willing to give everything he has to basically place as well as he can. And I think that's something that we want to pay attention to, because some players, if they're not going to win, they just give up on themselves and they stop giving it their all. But a player that continues to cash, you know they're fighting till the very end. So that's something that I really appreciate about Ezra's game. Now, much more exciting to me is Isaac Robinson. I think Isaac Robinson's going to get a big bag this year. That Elite Series win is going to go really far with his negotiations with Prodigy. I mean, second place at the Pro Tour Championships, takes home a $20K pot from that. USDGC, 6th place. This guy's breaking out. He's got a bright future. Again, I met Isaac in person at that Little Mulberry tournament, and it's one of the most polite, well-mannered, just super nice, cool guys to be around. And that is the kind of culture you want on your team. There is literally nothing toxic about Isaac Robinson as far as, you know, his personality, his play style, the way that he is. He's so nice. He's well-mannered. He's a great player. He's the kind of player that you want on your team, and you want to pay him to stay for a long time. If I was Prodigy, I would try and lock him in for 5 or more years, and then at the absolute least 3 or 4 years. I would try and lock this guy in for the long term, because you don't see people very often that have the skill that he has, but then don't have the ego. He doesn't carry that ego around with him, and I think that's extremely valuable with just likability, selling discs, moving plastic. So the guy's got it all. Now, will Prodigy, you know, give him the bag that he deserves? We'll have to wait and see, but I think him and his brother are also going to stay with Prodigy. But, well, I mean, we'll have to see. It's if someone offers more money, then he may move. I think Dynamic's going to probably try and get Isaac and Ezra Robinson. I wouldn't be surprised if Dynamic or Infinite tried to get those guys. But again, I think they'll stay with Prodigy for similar reasons to Alden. All of your friends are on Team Prodigy. They have such a good relationship. They make the videos together. They promote through each other. There's not really a great reason to give any of that up unless you are getting paid just a ridiculous amount of money through somebody else. But I think Isaac's going to stay with Prodigy. I'm just wondering if Prodigy has, you know, enough money to pay all these guys what they deserve, or some of these guys are going to have to take a pay cut just so everyone can stay on the team. And last but not least, we will be talking about Gannon Buhr. This is probably why you clicked on the video. Will Gannon Buhr stay with Prodigy? I think he's the most interesting player on this team right now. I think Gannon will get a huge contract. I think he'll be getting more than $100,000 per year. I mean, he deserves more than that. I'm not sure if Prodigy is willing to pay more than that, but I think if he switches over to Dynamic, he can probably get that $250K per year that they're paying some of their other players. Gannon Buhr is currently on pace to be the best disc golfer of all time, and if you have the potential to get that guy, you want to lock him in for a long-term deal. You want him throwing your plastic. You want him promoting your brand. Like I said, he's not just an amazing player, but he's also an amazing personality. Off the course, he's likable, he's goofy, he's fun. People love talking to him, hanging out with him, seeing him in videos. Super entertaining and fun to watch. And then on the course, he's dialed. His demeanor is just pure focus. He's a killer on the course, he plays well, and he has the capability of coming out and winning majors, as we saw at the USDGC. And then he could have gone back-to-back. If that final roller hits the back wall and rolls towards the basket, he could have been in a playoff, and this 14K could have been 30K. He could have been up there with Ricky and Isaac playing for the win. If that roller just flips a little bit more and curls back to the basket, he could have gone back-to-back. But look at his consistency. Third, first, third, sixth, second, fourth, third, second, first, fourth, sixth. I mean, he's playing out of his mind consistent. He is consistently going to put himself in a place to win tournaments. And I'm seeing like 20 hit Paul McBeth's 2015 season, arguably the greatest season of all time. Gannon Buhr could do that in a much more difficult field. And I think that's something that a company should invest a lot of money in, because you could be looking at the greatest player of all time before he's sort of grasped the title, and you want that guy in your team. I would love to hear all of your comments in the comment section down below. You are watching Iceberg TV, and take care.